Hello YouTube, it's good to see you guys. Today I'm going to be preparing my Remington 870 for some hunting. From what I understand, you should probably oil down your gun before you go hunting, no matter what model firearm you have. But I heard that some of these Remington 870s, they had a production run or two, or who knows how many, where they were particularly susceptible to rust. And you know, if you got a Remington 870, I can't tell you when exactly it was that they were coming out that way. But what I can tell you is, you know, just normally, no matter what firearm you have, you should probably oil it down before you go out, just because there's a lot of humidity in a lot of places. I'm in the state of Florida, there's a ton of humidity. You know, anywhere in the South there's going to be a lot of humidity. You should probably oil down your firearm, particularly if you've got a Remington 870. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you guys how I go about oiling down the whole thing, the barrel, everything. Oil it down. It's going to save you some headaches, hopefully. I'll show you my experience. I'm going to oil it down now. And I'm going to make a video later on describing my experience. Hopefully, I'm going to tell you guys that I didn't have any rust. That's what I'm hoping. So, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and take down this Remington 870. And proceed to lubricate the firearm. Removing the sling swivel. This is an aftermarket sling swivel that came with my magazine extension. I have a 5-shot magazine extension that came with this firearm. And it came with its own sling swivel. There she is. Removing the sling swivel. Removing the tube. You definitely need to make sure that your firearm is empty before you do any of this. I already checked it off camera. So the firearm is empty, the tube is empty, everything's empty. Go ahead and remove the magazine tube. Be careful not to send it sailing across the room, as it is spring loaded. When you lubricate your firearms, I definitely suggest using something that is intended for firearms. The lube that is inside your firearm is going to have to stand up to heat. Also, the lube that's on your barrel is going to have to stand up to heat. So I would suggest using products that are intended for firearms. In my case, I'm using Break-Free CLP. That's what there is out here where I'm at. That's what I find at all the gun stores and whatever. I'm not using it for any other reason other than that. It's readily available. It's intended for firearms, and I've had good results with it. So that's what I'm using. Once you remove your magazine tube end, you can pull out the barrel. Alright. This firearm is already pretty well lubed on the inside, because I always take care of my firearms that way. But needs a little more on the outside since I'm going out. In order to take this out, you're going to have to press in on a leaf spring. You have to stick your finger in there, press in on the leaf spring, and pull out with the other hand. Now you got your bolt. In order to take out your trigger mechanism, you want to punch out a couple of pins. They're not that difficult to do. You can do it with a pen. or anything you got lying around. Alright guys, you're going to have to knock these pins out with a hammer in order to get your trigger group out. And you might even do well to have a punch set in order to knock out these pins. Yeah guys, I'm doing well. I'm doing well as far as lubrication on the inside of the firearm, because that's just how I roll. But I'm going to go ahead and put some on my magazine tube, on the receiver, all over the receiver, all over the magazine tube, and all over the barrel, the outside of the barrel. The inside of the barrel will remain dry, but the outside of the barrel all over. Also, select your choke tube and lubricate. I just go ahead and use some of this. I lubricate the threads on the choke tube as well and put that in there, and you know, just screw it in finger tight. Doesn't have to be super tight, just finger tight, and clean out any lube that may come out after you put your choke tube in. So you lubricate the threads on your choke tube, put it in finger tight, and clean out any excess lube that may have come out in there. My trigger group is well lubricated. My bolt is well lubricated. I don't think you should lubricate the bolt face, but you should definitely lubricate the rest of the bolt. All the rest of the bolt. This bolt is thoroughly lubricated. So this is just, you know, preparation for going out into the wilderness, out and about where there's going to be a lot of humidity. You want to do, you know, the outside of the firearm like we're doing today, and make sure you got plenty of lube on the inside as well. Using Q-tips. You may want to wear some gloves for this. Some people like to do that. I'm going to be a little bit adventurous. I'm just going to rub it in with my hands. For most of the barrel, you may just want to use your hands. You know, like whether you use gloves or not, you may just want to use your hands for most of the barrel. You know, spread that out on there. But I'm definitely going to need the Q-tips for the vent ribs. I'm going to get in all in there in the vent ribs. You know, you definitely want to rub it in. You don't want it to be super wet or anything. You want to rub it in pretty thoroughly, all over everything. The inside of this ring and everything. and do the top of the vent rib. The sides as well. Put plenty on top of that vent rib, rub it in, put it on the edge. You know, if you got enough, go ahead and smush it over to the edge. Do the bead around the front. Definitely make sure you get the sides of the vent rib. I had some extra lube on my hands, so I'm going to rub down the outside of the receiver. Doing this in hopes that I'm not going to get any rust through the front edge, everything underneath. I'm doing this in hopes that I'm not going to get any rust from going out hunting with this firearm. So I'm going to keep you guys posted. It performs great on the range. It's a dream on the range. I have no complaints so far about this firearm, but I guess I'm going to have to take it hunting and then we'll see. That's going to be the true test. A little bit on the there we go. Magazine tube. I'm going to go hunting coyotes on public land. They only are allowing shotguns at the moment. They're not, well, yeah, they're not allowing centerfire rifles. So I'm going to go out there with this Remington 870 and some number 4 shot. I'd probably be better off with number 4 buckshot, but I have some number 4 shot lying around and that'll do. I'm just looking for coyotes is all. So I'll tell you how that goes. I'm thinking I'm going to go out with a medium choke tube. I mean, let's see, so we got a modified choke tube. That's what I'm figuring I'm going to use. I'm going to use a modified choke tube. If you guys have another suggestion, let me know. Alright, so the lube part is done. I'm going to go ahead and throw this puppy back together. You might want to lube your rails here. The rails that you put your bolt on, you might want to lube it up. I already have it lubed up. That's the only reason I didn't do it right now. And you know, anything that's metal, lube it up. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble, and I'm done. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I appreciate your company.